Good afternoon. Welcome to Liquid Lunch on thatchannel.com. I'm Randy Thomas. I am not the one and only Hugh Riley. There's two things that you can tell that it's not Hugh. Number one, I don't have his sparkling personality, and number two, I don't wear a kufi. So that's how you know for sure. But joining me today is the one and only Karen Windsor. Hi. Karen. Welcome back to the station.
Thank you for having me. It's
like
always a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, it's like our third week or fourth week together.
Third week.
Well, you know what they say, isn't a relationship like 3 days, 3 months,
Yes.
the 3 weeks
like
counts
that.
in hosting?
Sure.
Counts in hosting?
Sure.
So I'll know by the end of the day whether or not you're fed up with me.
Like if you see me back next week, then
Good. Yes,
it's
good
all
sign.
fine.
Good sign. Good
Yes.
sign. But once you come on board permanently, we're going to have to get you to wear a kufi because that's Hugh Riley's trademark. And so I won't do
I
it,
will if you will.
Okay. Right. All right. Well, no, but, we'll leave that for Hugh, actually. This is his show, and I'm just happy to be able to sit in for now on the Mondays, and hounded him long enough to let me do it. So he finally caved and has let me take over Monday, and so I'm having a great time with that. And anyway, so how was your weekend, Karen? What did you do?
It was great. Friday night, opening ceremonies for the Olympics.
Yeah,
I was glued to the TV. It was fantastic.
Yeah, what did you like about it the most?
I liked a few things. My favorite, and I have to look at the gentleman's name, Shane Koizan, and I apologize if I'm not pronouncing it right. But he's a slam poet, and his "We Are More" at the end of the ceremony was brilliant.
Oh wow!
He was inspiring and motivated, and it started on YouTube in 2007, and he was asked to do it live, and it was better live.
Nice.
He was terrific. It was a beautiful example of what talent is in Canada, and the words he had to say. It's going to sound corny, but it made me proud to be a Canadian. The opening ceremonies was beautiful. It was very Cirque du Soleil. Amazing to see their influence and the whales, the technology on the floor. They used the floor and material coming down from the ceiling and up from the floor to portray different scenes in Canadian. And there were whales swimming, and it was beautiful. And the Aboriginal dancers. It was great.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. It was funny. I was working here fairly late Friday night.
Yes.
And I watched Nikki do her show, and the beat goes on. And then after that, we went to the after party for Nikki's show down at Chic Lounge. And then, it was funny. I was just getting out of the cab, and I could hear, all the bars in town were playing the opening ceremonies, which I thought was really cool. Because, you kind of get, running a business, you kind of get caught up in your own stuff sometimes. You don't realize that there's the world going on around you. And that's exactly what it was like for me on Friday. The opening ceremonies, I didn't even think about them being on. Wasn't even thinking about it at all until I got out of the cab, and I could hear it down at Elephant Castle down on King Street.
That's wonderful.
And I really got emotional.
It was a very moving thing.
Just to hear the music that at that point in time that they were playing, and I was thinking to myself, I felt ashamed that I wasn't sitting down and watching it. So anyway, I went to Nikki's party for a while, and we had a good time. And then after that, I went over to the Foggy Dew with some of the fellas that I actually do some film work with, and I caught the end of the ceremonies there. And yeah, it was beautiful. It was just again, very proud to be Canadian, and what a world class presentation. I mean that whole thing, just the logistics of trying to put that all together.
Unbelievable.
And when I watched it, I was like, wow.
It was beautiful. And it was inspiring, which is what you want the Olympics to be, not just for the world, but you want to make sure that as Canadians, that the world sees this as something Canadian, but not.
Were you surprised that Wayne Gretzky was the last one?
No.
I wasn't either. Even though said that he wasn't.
No.
It was funny. While I was sitting there, just before they rolled the torch in, and I say rolled because it was Rick Hansen. It was funny. I go, you know what? I bet you Rick Hansen's the last one. And
he was the first.
And then but he was the first one to come into the stage.
Yes.
He rolls in,
which was very beautiful.
Yeah, I know what I thought it was great. And then I didn't quite get the whole thing on the inside where one of the pillars didn't come up. I guess
that was a logistical issue because when you saw at the end when Wayne Gretzky lit the torch down by the water.
Yeah.
That there were 4.
Yeah.
So they were waiting for the 4th one. They were waiting for all of them to come up, and I'm sure they thought, I can't believe this entire thing's gone off.
Wasn't it LeMay Doan that was standing there?
Yes. And Steve Nash you could kind of tell from the look on his face that he's wondering what's going on too. And,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden the three started to come up and the fourth one just wasn't happening. So they just, Le Maidon just, stood
Yeah.
there with their torch. It was still beautiful.
Well, see, part of me was wondering, okay, well, did they plan it? Is that why Wayne Gretzky goes out and around, and then he comes back, and then it was up and lit when they came back in, didn't it?
They probably, well, it was lit before he left. Just the fourth pillar wasn't up.
No, but that's what I mean. But did the fourth pillar come up?
I don't remember. I really don't.
So I thought maybe that was kind of planned, but then I said, well, why would it be Katrina LeMay's? Like, I could have seen it inside if it would have been Wayne Gretzky.
I don't think it was planned.
And then he goes out and around and outside, then comes back and he lights the last one and it comes up to make it as if it's a fait accompli.
Right.
But anyway, it was, okay, so there was a bit of a glitch, but I don't think it's that big of a deal.
No, not at all.
I mean, the snowboarder.
I think if it didn't come up at all,
rings.
then it would have been a bit of a major faux pas. But but the fact that 3 out of 4 and who really cares at that point?
Yeah, no, I agree too. It was just absolutely.
The ceremony went off without a hitch. It really was beautiful,
Yeah.
and the performers, the Celtic fiddlers were a lot of fun. Ashley McIsaac. I was, everybody's always a little concerned watching him, but he did a very respectable. Great job, and there Brian Adams, Nelly Furtado, Katie Lang, version of Hallelujah was out of this world. One of the best versions I've heard.
Yeah, I liked her suit.
Put it out there. Gorgeous, really. I mean, it was because it was keeping with the white, and it was.
She
absolutely.
Was great. No, they were all wearing.
It was nice
the
to
same
see her,
clothes.
and we don't see very much of her.
What I thought was really cool. I'm sitting in the foggy dew, and when they were walking in the flag, and you had Donald Sutherland and whatnot, and people just started screaming, like when they'd see each person. I thought that was so cool. A couple of people, of course, didn't get as big a scream as others.
No.
But Donald got a big scream.
Yes, he did.
And I found out from my girlfriend at the Drake, they were doing the same thing. People were screaming every time they saw they'd announce it, clap and scream and cheer and all that. I thought it was very special. That was beautiful.
I thought it was too, and I was glad that it was Wayne Gretzky was the last.
I don't have a problem with that at all.
I don't either.
I don't.
He was in Canada and gave a lot to Canada for a long
he's still
time.
Canadian. He still does, and it's just anybody who has to complain about that. I mean, who else? Pierre Trudeau's not alive, so it can't be Pierre Trudeau. So who else would it be?
He is a great Canadian. He's one of the greatest hockey players.
No, he is
of all time.
Absolutely.
So it was nice to see Bobby Orr there.
Yes.
Too, for hockey fans out there.
Yes, it was. Absolutely. No.
Yeah.
Again, and they didn't seem to leave anybody out. What did you think of Arnold Schwarzenegger carrying the torch?
I didn't understand it. I didn't.
I think it's a ploy for actors in Vancouver. I think they did that because they're hoping that they'll let the actors back down into Vancouver, and that maybe he'll let some production up into Vancouver. 'Cause he's a real advocate to stopping production leaving California.
Yes.
He's trying to keep it there, and he doesn't want it to go to Canada and everything. So maybe that was a buttering up of the Terminator.
I didn't see the link, where there was a link for every other person.
Well, I don't know. What would you have thought if they would have got Obama to carry a torch partway?
Well, that would have just been odd.
Well, it can't be any more odd than Terminator.
But again, I didn't get his involvement. I didn't quite understand why he was there.
Well,
I mean, I don't have a problem with him being there. If he wants to be there, I guess it's fine. But
yeah, like for me, I don't. Some people say, well, you could have given it to another Canadian. And my argument on that is, you know what? We should have gotten. It would have been great to have a whole host of international stars, whether it be Arnold Schwarzenegger, President Obama, or whoever, like at different points, it just would have added to the international appeal of the event.
Sure,
I know, not the Olympics need any more.
I guess I just didn't understand why they singled him out. That there wasn't, like you say, a link all the way through. If it was going to be an international,
maybe that was an Obama
affair.
Maybe it was supposed to be Obama. Maybe it was supposed to be.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know. We'll never know.
No, we won't. But anyway, I didn't have a problem with it myself. I didn't mind.
There was one sad part.
Oh yeah,
the Georgian.
You know what's so weird about that is the opening ceremonies finish, and then they show a replay of the accident.
I was thought
like,
it was
oh
offensive.
my God.
I thought it was offensive. I thought it was unethical as a communications professional. I thought it was unethical of CTV to play that scene on air. And the fact that they didn't prepare viewers, I wasn't prepared. I watched CTV National most nights, Lloyd Robertson tune in, and when Tom Clark came on and said, the scenes you're going to see are graphic, I thought, okay, well maybe they're going to show the track or show the practice. But I wasn't prepared. And I don't think that in the spirit of